Hiring the right candidate is one of the toughest challenges for any HR team. So we build an AI agent to simplify the whole process. Here is how it works. Whenever a candidate sends a resume, the system automatically stores their data, analyzes their resume, matches it against the job requirements in your database, and finally, a detailed report is created. The HR team receives this report instantly via Slack, and the candidate is notified via email regarding the updates. Today, I will show you how you can create this cool AI agent using make.com. As mentioned, I'm maintaining all the job requirements in an Airtable base with the table name job requirements data. And you can see here we have a column for job role, required skills, experience required, education, and key responsibility. Say if it's an AI engineer, we are providing the required skills, experience required, education, and key responsibilities separately. So we have all the list of job requirements in our company feeded in an Airtable base. Cool, right? Now let's go to our make.com. Here under the AI agent section, I have created an agent named AI hiring assistant. So if you want to create from beginning, just click on create agent and you can see you can select the agent name, model, and then finally create the prompt and click on save. So I have already configured it. So I'm just going and clicking on configure option. So under configure, you can see provision to add system prompt, and this is the core heart of our AI agent. And just let's go quickly through this prompt. You are an AI hiring assistant analyzing resume that comes through Gmail. First you need to check if this is an application for job or not, and if they have attachment with mail. If the mail is not an application for job, then ignore, right? So if you find anything missing, do not add any value on your own. That's very important. And finally, these are the steps we ask our agent to execute. One, extract candidate information. You can see use the resume test extractor scenario to get the extracted test from PDF, right? So this is going to be the step one, the first scenario to get executed, and then it will jump to step two. What does it say? Match skills to job requirement. So use the scenario to get the current job roles and its requirement, basically fetching all the job roles in our Airtable database. And then we say compare the candidate skills with job description. So in step one, we extracted all the content. In step two, we extracted all the open job roles and requirements, and then we do the comparison. The agent will do the comparison. We are giving that instruction, and it will calculate a match percentage based on required skills and list out missing or weak areas and provide a short summary on whether the candidate is a strong fit, basically saving a lot of time. And finally, add the candidate details to the Airtable database. That is a step 4. And fifth one is generating an HR summary and send confirmation mail. Once the prompting is done, we have to come and configure the system tools. So whatever the steps we explained, we have to create scenarios for those steps and then connect under system tools. So as I said, the first step was to extract the candidate resume information. So let's go to the scenario here. You can see I have created a scenario resume test extractor. So let me go to that scenario. So this is a school scenario where we are going to extract the scenario information. So here you can see I have used a special module known as Gmail v1.1. So you can see here Gmail 1.1, where I have used a module get an email. I'm using get an email module where I have selected the message as the email type, and you can see I have passed the input variable message ID. I'll tell you how to create this. And then we have gone with make an API call module. So you can see here make an API call module over here, and I've connected it to get attachment. So here we have to pass the URL exactly shown here to get the resume attachment. Guys, don't worry about this URL because all these details will be available in our blueprint. So don't worry about it. So we have this URL which is already available in the Gmail API documentation. So this is to extract the attachment provided in Gmail. And then Finally, we need to extract it. So we got the attachment, right? So it is in a what we say, it is like in a data format, and we have to convert to binary. So to do that, like this conversion is very important to read the content within the attachment. So for that, we use a tool known as doc crafter. So this doc crafter in Make as an option to extract text from PDF. So if you go to plus doc crafter, you can see doc crafter, and then you can just type in test to PDF. So let me type. So you can see here extract test from PDF. So on giving this module, so here you can provide the file name as resume.pdf, and in data you can use two binary functions. So you can see here the two binary function, and using this you can map the data outputted from the get attachment module, right? And then pass base 64. So this will read the data, and then finally we give the scenario module return output. So now let's come back to the input parameter. So you can see this option scenario inputs and output. So here you can simply configure by add item a variable. So here I'm passing the name as message underscore ID, and the description is message ID of the mail to retrieve the attachment. Now guess the main scenario. What will be our main scenario? See here, as I mentioned, the candidate will be probably or always sending an email to HR with the attachment. So our trigger scenario will be watching the email, and we are watching for those specific emails with attachment and then connecting our AI agent. As part of that main scenario, we are building these subset scenarios, right? These tools. And as I mentioned, since the trigger is watch email, it will have the message ID. So that message ID will come over here, and we are saying that this is the message ID of the mail to retrieve the attachment. Hope you understood. You will get an overall picture when I show you the live demo. And then we have configured scenario output. In scenario output, I created an item named extracted underscore data. So naming convention is very important. You cannot use space. So letters and numbers plus underscores are accepted, and then I'm given a description data extracted from CV or resume. So all these are ready. So that's how I map the message ID variable over here. So this is very important. And then in written output, I have mapped the test extracted from the resume. That is the output from the doc crafter. Cool, right? So that is about tool 1. So once this is ready, let's go to our agent, and you need to add this tool. See here, I have already connected the resume test extractor over here. So just click on add. I have already connected resume test extractor over here. So just go to add and select this scenario, and make sure that only scenarios scheduled on demand or triggered by a custom webhook will be available here. So if you go to our scenario, it is already configured under on demand. Very important. Now let's go to the second tool. So we have already configured the step 1. Now let's come back, and we can see the step 1 is done. Step 2 is match skills to job requirement. So we have to extract all the job requirement in Airtable. So here you can see we have a scenario. We connected job requirement database. So let's go to there. So here is a scenario where I have connected my Airtable module. So Airtable as a module search record. So you can use this module and then select the base job requirement, table job requirement data, and then you can select all the output field, and then use a test aggregator. It's very simple. So go here and connect your test aggregator. All right. And in test aggregator, you can map all the job roles, required skills from the Airtable. So this will aggregate all the job requirements in Airtable as a test value. And then finally, we have to connect the scenario return output module. So you can see return output module, and we have to configure this. So here we don't have any input, we have output. So we are mapping, we are creating an item with name job underscore requirement, and says that these are the job requirement for different roles. So we have this variable reflected over here, and then we'll map the entire aggregated test value, the variable which hold all the requirement, job requirement in Airtable. So our step 2 is ready, or it is about to be ready, right? Because after the step 1 and step 2, the agent will do the matching, right? So that is the overall step 2 process. So if you come to the agent As I mentioned, in step 2, they will now start comparing the match percentage, missing areas, and we missing and matching areas, and give a complete report. So that is all about step 2. Now let's go to step 3, where we say that the candidate information should be added to the Airtable database. So for that, we have connected another tool, that is add candidate data to Airtable. See this? So let's go to this scenario. So we have this scenario where we go and create a record. That's it. So we are going to create a record about the candidate information under another table as seen here, candidates data, where we feed in name, education, experience, all extracted from resume, and the match percentage. This is the job of agent, right? Which saves our time. And the matching skill, missing skills, and then finally a summary whether the candidate is fit or not. And this will come from this scenario. Let me go and open the scenario, add candidate data to Airtable. So here we are using the module create a record. Basically, we are going to create a record, right? So we can use create a record module, and then we have to feed in the job requirement, select the base table, and see here, since we have to map name, contact, matching role, skills, soft skill, all these fields. So you can see this entire field I have created, columns I have created in Airtable, right? So in order to do this, we have to map these inputs, right? So we have to create these variables in scenario input. So under scenario input, you can see I've created name field, say name of the candidate. Then we have contact number of the candidate, and then we have similarly skills, education, soft skill. So simply keep creating all these required columns, and it's very easy. So just keep creating and see summary is total summary of the candidate. Missing skill is missing skills from job requirement, right? And matching skill is matching skills from job requirement. So once this is there, keep mapping everything, and finally create a scenario output. So scenario output is status. I just created a status saying status of adding candidate to Airtable, and there I mentioned the status is created, and I map the Airtable ID, the record ID, and the created time. So that's all about step 2. So let's come back. So we have connected all these scenario, the 3 scenarios here, and now we have the final step, generate an HR summary and send confirmation mail. So what is happening? So we have a new scenario that is for replying. So reply mail to candidate and message to HR. Let's go and see here. So this is the final execution job of the agent we are going to connect in Make. So here you can see, as I mentioned, see, candidates are in desperate when they send all the resume, they don't get any replies from HR. HR is so busy. So this will facilitate a smooth engagement with the candidate as well. So this will send an email to the candidate saying, hey, we have received your application for job and we are reviewing it. So creating a bond between HR or the company and the candidates, right? Here you can see we have mapped the email of the candidate, subject, and the body. So to map these variables, again, we have to go to scenario inputs and configure email, where we say this is the email of the candidate, and then we have the subject, and that talks about confirmation mail to the candidate about receiving the job application. Then a variable for body, where we mention it is the body of the mail in HTML, confirmation mail to the candidate, and Slack message, right? And you can see Slack message to HR with summary of the candidate. And here we are connecting the Slack module, create a message. So it's very simple. So in this module, we are selecting the public channel, HR management, and we map the Slack message that is returned by the agent. So finally, we create a scenario output where we say the status, that is the job is done, that is sending email, and Slack message is executed. So we have a status saying that the mail is sent successfully. So that's all about the scenario, the tools. Now let's go to the core heart, that is the agent connected to our trigger. So if you remember the trigger, I mentioned that we are going to watch the the emails received from the candidate on job application. So we have an email from one of the candidate, Nijas, here, application for AI engineer. So we just received it. So you can see how our AI agent is going to be in action, saying that whether this candidate is perfect or not for our organization. So this is just an email received almost a few minutes back. And let's go to our main scenario, this scenario, AI hiring assistant. Here we watch the email received in the inbox folder, and then finally we connect it to the agent. So AI agent have a module run an agent, and on going to this, you can see whatever the system tools we configured in the agent will be reflecting here. So you can see, just go to the scenario, the module, and select this agent, AI hiring assistant, and it will reflect all the tools that we have added here. And one very important thing, make sure you configure the agent settings as well, and this will be done generally when you start creating an agent. And then in bottom you can see there is a field additional system instruction. So we are passing the current date as now, and you can see now under the date function. And in messages you need to map the message ID and subject and body written from the first module. So you can see this message ID. Let me type in Gmail message ID. So you can map this Gmail message ID and the subject and body separately. So body, in case of body, you can map the test content to the message field. So this will be ready, and just click on save. So now we have completely set up our AI agent, and it's time to go for a live demo. So let me take one of the recent email that we received. Yeah. So let me select it manually, since I'm not going to get a new job application right now. I'll go and select the recent one. Here you can see, here once I scroll down, I can see the email I shown from Nijas. So let's go and select it, and now let's run our AI agent. So before that, make sure we have all the scenarios on demand. So we have everything on demand live. So let's go and run this and get the calculation, right? So it's running. I'm just excited, guys, what will happen. Yeah. So the AI agent is in action. So as I mentioned initially, it will be the resume test extractor. So let me go to scenario resume test extractor. You can see it has run successfully just now. You can see it got the email information, dear HR from Nijas, and get attachment. And then finally it send all the extracted data. So you can see there is an extracted data here. Yeah, this is cool. We have all the data. And then we mentioned it will run the second scenario, that is matching the skills to job requirement. Let's go here and see the history of this scenario. Okay, it just ran now. You can see the time 12:04 and 12:04 over here as well. So this will collect all the requirement, the requirement in the Airtable database. So we have everything collected, and the comparison will happen. And finally, the candidate data will get added. So let's see if it is added or not. Let's go to the scenario. Okay, so we got a response. The application has been successfully processed. The entire detail is there: candidate information, job application, key skills. And let's go to the Slack. Cool. So we got a report. Candidate is Nijaz Ali. Match score is 40%. Matching role is AI engineer. Key skill match is Python. These are the missing skills. Cool, right? And we don't need to go and do the manual evaluation, and say that Nijas Ali has a solid foundation in Python and experience in AI driven projects. However, there are significant skill gaps in key areas required for the AI engineer role, primarily in machine learning and deep learning. A perfect analysis by our make.com AI agent. Now let's come back. So that means let's go to the database as well. Okay, you can see here. So Nija's data is also populated with this contact, matching role, skills, soft skill, education, and then match percentage is 40%. I won't preferably go with him in that case, but let's see. Let's go for now and see the history as well. So on the add candidate, so we have this run, last run. Okay, so this is the one which ran and added Nijas to the Airtable database. And finally, we would have sent a reply mail as well. So we have a reply mail scenario triggering. So it sent an email and then Slack message, which we have seen. So let's go to Gmail and let me open the send folder. And I can see the email sent. Dear Nijas, thank you for your application for the AI engineer position at our organization. We appreciate your interest and the time you took to apply. We will review your application and get back to you shortly. Cool, right? This automation saves hours of manual screening, ensures faster response times, and helps HR make better hiring decisions. Before we wrap up, let me tell you, we have a community of 200 plus AI enthusiasts discussing about new AI releases, discussing about the AI agents, updates, and also attending our weekly live Q&As. Basically, we are working towards building an automated world. For more details, comment Master AI and we'll provide the link to access our community.